Welcome folks to today's Cook and Move session. We'll be making some stewed apple and pears and doing some gentle movement using a chair. As always, you are in charge of the workout, not me. I'm here for tips, ideas, suggestions, but you're the one who decides how many pears to put in and if you're going to join us for the movement. Everything here is optional. Let's launch into it. So for today's recipe, we are doing some stewed apple and pears. In Australia, it's getting a little bit cold now. I've got a surplus of apples and pears, and I love stewed fruit with a bit of yogurt, maybe with a bit of ice cream, or you can get it ready to chuck into an apple crumble if you want. So how I'm going to do today is via ratios. So as you can tell, I have a lot of apples and I would like to use them all. You may only have one apple, and that is totally fine. You can do this with just one apple. The sweetness, you know, whatever you use for your sweetness, whether that be sugar or honey, you use that just to taste. So you put as much or as little as you want. Same as the spice. And when it comes to the water, we have a nice little method that's going to help us out. Now, and as for the water, we're using a ratio method. So if you only have one apple, it's fine, we can still work with it. And if you have a bajillion like me, it's fine, we can still work with it. Let's get started with talking through the ingredients. So as I said, you're gonna need some apples and or pears. I've got a nice combination. I've got a few different ones. I've got some Fuji apples. I've got some Pink Lady apples. I've got some pears, and all of my apples and pears have been delivered to my door by the real food grocer. Information below. For spices, totally go with what works for you. I have this chai mix I made myself. In it is, you know, a little bit of cinnamon, we've got some cloves, we've got a little bit of sugar as well actually, we've got some nutmeg, and we've got some cardamom pods. Now, for sweetener, we want these stewed fruits to taste nice and sweet. You want to use anything that you really like and have available to you. I've actually run out of sugar. So today I'm using some honey. So I'm using some honey for sweetener, sugar, maple syrup, whatever it is that floats your boat. If you want to use that, that's fine. And then later on, we're going to need some tap water. So they're your ingredients. So join me right now, have everything ready to go, and let's get chopping. Now, how I've tried to set up today's cook and move session is that we actually do this together. We prepare the food together, we let it stew together, and we move together. Now, if you're only chopping up one apple, it's fair to say you're going to be done before me. So feel free to skip the video forward if you're in that category, or just keep watching along if you're enjoying my wonderful voice narrating how I chop a pear. And you want to aim to get the diced pieces roughly that size. So that's my finger. I don't know what that is, like a centimetre or so. And I'm going to just bang it straight into my pot as I go, just to make life easier. So I'm popping my pot over here, and let's keep going. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that already. Just after cutting this pear, I've got this beautiful sweet aroma. Have a little snack. Oh my God. Wow, this pear is taking me by surprise. It's quite, it's super juicy and super crunchy. I need to check my order to see what kind of pear this is. So luckily for stoogers like me who put in a fruit and veg order with the real food grocer, like if you're like me and you're like, oh, just give me the fruit and veg box, this is what this came with. You know, you see what kind of pears and apples you've ordered, and you can swap them out if you want as well, which I've done, and it's so easy to do with these people. But if you're a stooge like me and order and you can't remember what kind of pear it is, when you get your fruit and veg delivered, they actually have like the list printed at the top of the box. So long story short, I'm gonna have to look at that list again because I need to order me these pears again. This is super juicy, and just like look, you can see how juicy it is. All right, switching over to an apple. So if you have a different dicing method, or if you use some form of assistive technology in the kitchen, I don't know, maybe you find gripping a knife a little hard, so you use one of those apple corers, or you got a nicer dicer, or I don't know, you just want to pop it in if you've got a Thermomix or whatever it is, go for it. You don't have to hand chop it like I am, but yeah. Now, as we're chopping along, let's discuss posture in the kitchen. So there's a few things that are really important to consider. And I think one of the most important things is what's your back doing. Now, whether you're in a chair for accessibility reasons, just wash that, or whether you're standing up, you still want to make sure that your spine, as much as possible, you're not getting any slumping or rounding occurring, because that's going to put some pressure on your back that you don't really want, and that may contribute to some back pain down the line. So what is really good, whether you're accessing your kitchen sitting down from a wheelchair or a stool, or if you're standing up, in both cases, I want you to imagine that piece of string on the top of your head, pulling your spine up, up, up. Yeah, that's point number one. Point number two is that it's really important to ensure that your bench height and your cutting height is appropriate. So once again, this is a bit tricky for people who access their kitchen from a wheelchair or a stool, but if you are chopping and your shoulder is up here, that can lead to some discomfort and potentially some pain. It also means you're not able to harness the power of gravity. So what you'll notice here is that basically my chopping board, my bench, is lower than my elbows. And you can get into nitty gritty of how much is it lower by, and there's other key things to look at, but I think if you just start with that, just ensuring that your bench is lower than your elbows, that's fine. I know for me, I definitely don't want my bench lower than my wrists when I stand, because that's just, that's too low, and then I can't just use my wrist the way I want to. All right, so I'm still chopping. I'd say I'm nearly halfway. So if you've done with your chopping, feel free to go forward, or feel free to stick around with me. If you're sticking around with me, let's keep talking kitchen posture. The other thing I want you to do, if you're standing, I want you to make sure that your feet are hip width apart, and you're not doing that over to one side, popping the hip out. Like, yeah, I know you're sassy, but let's give our spine, our pelvis, a nice place to support itself. So feet hip width apart, knees soft, and if you need to stop and put down the knife and concentrate, do it. But knees nice and soft, that tall spine, and try and keep your body weight evenly distributed. Once again, if you're accessing your kitchen from a chair, Same thing, try and keep your weight evenly distributed between each butt cheek, basically. I completely acknowledge, however, that there are some people out there with postures and pelvis orientations that it's not always going to work out like that, and that's fine. But if you can take the opportunity now to ensure that you're as comfortable as possible, and also you're in a safe, your spine is engaged safely. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So like I said, I like to have stewed apples and pears, sometimes by themselves, but normally with a yogurt. I've had it with custard, a vanilla custard, yum. I've had it with vanilla ice cream, love it. What else? And yeah, then I've also used it to make an apple crumble. Like, this is like the hardest part of the apple crumble done. So yeah, there's quite a lot you can do with it, which I like. I like me a versatile food because I don't like to get bored with my food, or I get bored easily, I should say. All right, nearly there. Check in with your posture. If you need to stop and have a stretch, stop and have a stretch. I might do that after this apple. We've been chopping a lot. Let's shake out the wrists, shake them up, have a bit of a jiggle party, bring them down, bit of a stretch this way, and the other way, shake, let's keep going. Let's try an apple. I haven't sampled any apple yet. Oh my God, that's a good apple. That is, once again, a lot crunchier than I thought it would be. And there's a hint of sourness in it too, actually, which I like. When I was a kid, I only ever liked Granny Smiths. And then as a young adult, I really only liked Red Delicious. I believe, could be wrong, I believe I just cut up a Fuji apple. I have decided, just looking at how much apple and pear I have, I've decided that's enough, and I'm gonna snack on the rest of these ones later. So I'm gonna put them back in my fruit bowl. So we are going to give the pot a bit of a shake, just so that all the pear and apple is nice and even on the surface, right? Then you're going to get whatever implement you use to fill water, and we're just going to put enough water that the top doesn't get completely covered, it's just touched. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. So pour your water, and if you've got a smaller batch, you'll notice that you need less water. If you've got a large batch, you'll need a bit more. Okay, so as I poured the last of that, some of the apple and pear started to rise, so let's give it a bit of a jiggle. And that's what I mean by covering. That's actually perfect. I don't need any more than that. Spices. We're doing spices to taste, so it's as much or as little as you like. I'm full on, I'm dumping this entire thing in here. This is the equivalent of probably 3 tablespoons of spice. Like I said before, I have cinnamon, nutmeg, I think there's a bit of ginger in here. There's a little bit of sugar in there as well, not a lot. I've got cloves and cardamom pods. And then once again, let's get some sweet stuff in there. Once again, as much or as little as you like. I've just lumped this in. This is just some honey, and I'm gonna pop it in the middle if I can. Oh, it's really sticking. off you get. I'm going to use my fingers, which are clean, but we'll need a clean after this. Okay, and that's it for now. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir just to mix up the spice in with the water. All right. So after mixing that in, just gently press it all down, like so. Let's pop the lid on and let's whack it on the stove. Pop your pot on the stove and turn on the heat. I recommend for now put it on the higher setting because we do have cold water in there. We are going to come back, check the state of it, and then come back to movement. Now, this is really important because we're all working with different ratios of apples and pears. You may need to check on your apples and pears sooner. I'd hate for some overflow or burning or fire disaster to happen. So if you have someone else who can keep an eye on it, awesome. Can you work out within close vicinity so you can check on it? Awesome. I will give you lots of reminders to come back and check we're not overflowing and bubbling, but there are a few other things we might be able to tell, like if we can smell it or whatever from where we're working out. So for now, high heat, we will come back once it's starting to boil, and we're going to turn it right down and keep moving. All right, let's jump into it. Okay folks, welcome to our movement section of the day. We're going to be doing some glute and hip work, and we're going to start seated. So can I get you nice and tall spine in your seat, and we're just going to bring our arms up and down and up and down, up, down. Okay, and as we roll our shoulders, I'm going to talk about options for the day. There's a movement we're going to do, and if you're a wheelchair user, this may not be an option for you. So I want you to consider any other gluteal movements that you find beneficial, or if gluteal movements aren't going to work for you at all, bring out the dumbbells, bring out the resistance band, anything you'd like to do in the upper body. I recommend doing some shoulder presses, like so. Some of those would be really fabulous right now. If you have the ability to, we are going to be doing some standing work. Let's start with both feet on the ground, and let's just come up and come back down. Once again, back up and back down. If you can do this, but you need some assistance, whether it be from assistive technology, maybe a person, maybe you have a desk or something, feel free to use it as well. Doesn't matter how fast you're going. I've done something like 4, you may have done 1, it's all good. Go at your own pace, it's fine. That's it. And as you come up, I want you to squeeze those butt cheeks together. If standing isn't an option for you, just squeeze your butt cheeks, let them go. Squeeze your butt cheeks, let them go. You can do that seated without having to stand up. All right, one more. That's it. All right, let's pick some pears and pick some apples. So reaching up nice and high, that's it. And now we're going to think about our apples or pears being just a little bit in front of us. And as you do this, I want you to sniff the air. Can you smell your stewed apples? Are they boiling yet? Or bubbling, I should say. I can see some steam rise already. That was quite quick. So I'm going to go and check them out. If you want to check yours as well, pause the video. Otherwise, keep moving along. Okay, I'm back. How was your stewed fruit? Now, when it does come to the boil, whether it was just then or later, just make sure you take off the lid, give it a stir, pop the lid back on, and then turn it down so it's just simmering, and we'll get back to it soon. All right, let's pick a couple more pears and apples, and then we're going to change it up. That's it. That's it. All right, we're about to do some single leg sit to stands. These can be really tricky. So if you don't feel confident or strong enough, just do the two-legged ones and come back down. If once again you're in a chair, standing up's not an option, squeeze the butt cheeks, let them go. And if you're getting a bit bored of that, some resistance bands or weights in the hands and a couple shoulder presses. Otherwise, come with me. And let's stand up for one. And it's fine if you're wobbly. It's fine if you're shaky like me. It's fine if you need to take breaks. I'm just gonna do like 10 and see how I feel. I'll probably need a little recovery break. Whoa, that's it. And you may find you have one side a bit stronger than the other. That's it. 7 for me. Take as many breaks as you need. Use something beside you if you need. That's fine. 9. Let's do one more. 10. Fantastic. All right. As we recover, if you need to press pause, check how your fruit's doing, do that. Otherwise, enjoy this nice little recovery with me and breathe. And smell that beautiful appley, cinnamony scent in the air. Smells so good. Can't wait. All right, other foot just in front. Let's give this a go. If memory serves me right, I struggle with this one more. We shall find out. Are we ready? Let's go. 1, 2. So remember, as you stand up, dig that heel into the ground and try and squeeze your butt cheeks together. That's it. Brilliant work, my friend. 6. We got it. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Whoa. Needed a bit of help, that one. All right, we're going to do that one more time. If you need to press pause, check your fruit, go for it. Just a reminder for people who aren't standing up and you want a different option, feel free to play around with your arms. Maybe have a little break, come to some bicep and tricep curls. That'd be great. Your other option, maybe holding one dumbbell up above and letting it touch the back of your neck and come straight up. So that's an option for those of you who are doing some seated working out. Otherwise, if you're ready to rock and roll with another round, come with me. Are we ready? All right, let's go. Try and use as little momentum as possible and let it just be the raw power of your butt, your hamstring and your calf. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Let's do one more. Fantastic. So I know some people out there will really struggle with this. That's fine. Even if you just get to hovering your butt off the chair a bit, that's fine. That's great. All right, round 2, leg 2. Let's go. Up. Once again, I'm thinking as I do this, try and let it be as little momentum as possible. Use the power of your leg. Dig that heel into the ground. Now. That's it. So push the heel into the ground, stand up. If it helps, imagine you're pulling onto ropes either side of you and you can pull yourself back. Sometimes we just need that visual cue and it all makes sense. One more. Fantastic. That last one coming back down, both times for me, I struggled. All right, smell the air. Do you need to go check your fruit? If you do, press pause, come back when you need to. All right, if you're gonna keep moving along with us, I reckon it's time we do some deadlifts. What do you think? Now, with or without equipment, I'm gonna do without equipment today. So, pop your chair to the side. We may require it later. For those of you who are doing a seated workout, I do encourage you to do maybe a sit and reach rather than a deadlift, because some of the things I'm going to talk about you can apply as well, including tall, straight back and core. All right, so feet hip width apart, knees soft, and no matter if you're sitting and reaching or you're doing a deadlift with me, imagine a piece of string on the top of your head, pulling your spine up, and we get that spine elongation, yeah? Shoulders back, and for everyone, we pivot at the hips. So let's go. If you're standing, hips go back. If you're reaching, hips go as back as they can, but think about bringing your arms forward. That's it. How does that feel? And as you stand up, dig your heels into the ground. Dig your heels into the ground. That's it. Dig, dig, dig. And as you stand up, squeeze your butt cheeks together. Yeah? Squeeze the butt cheeks together. One more. Squeeze. So for my folks who are seated, I'm going to join you this round. If you're happy to keep doing deadlifts, keep on doing them. If you're sitting down, let me join you. I'll do a bit of this sit and reach. So same principle, everyone. Tall spine. Let's pivot from the hips. And if you're sitting and reaching, come forward. If you can squeeze your butt cheeks on the way back, do it. Otherwise, you just keep engaging your core. Reach and come back. And just make sure as you reach, don't slump or roll, okay? Let's keep a nice straight back. That's it. 4. If you need to, legs nice and wide to make way for the tummy. I know I need to do that. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Fantastic. All right, shall we go check our fruit? Okay, let's put the chair away again. We're going to do some lunges. If you need a chair to steady yourself or balance, by all means use it. If you're doing a seated workout today, rather than lunges, maybe do some kicking. Well, it is, I consider it kicking because it's just the kicking motion you do in a pool, like so. If you have weights in your hands, feel free to do that. Go as slow or as fast as you like, and feel free to soften the elbows just ever so slightly. Tall spine, shoulders back. So that's your option, and please take all the breaks you need. It's pretty full on doing that. All right, Otherwise, let's do some lunges. Are we ready? I'm going to do some facing this way. If you need to steady yourself onto something, go for it. And let's go. I'm going to do 8. Just picked a number. That's it. And remember, dig your heel into the ground on the way up, the leg that's in front. Oh, and I don't know about you, but one of the main reasons why I like to do lunges, stretch. The leg that goes back, get a mad stretch there, and I really need that. I'll do these ones facing you. Just got to check my heel doesn't hit that. All right, balance. Let's go. 1. Recenter. That's it. I find this really difficult because I can see me in the camera, and it's harder to keep my balance, so I've got to look past you all. 5, 6, 7, one more, and 8. Beautiful. Oh, how'd you go? All right, let's move on. If you've checked your pears and apples and they need a little bit longer to go, you're going to come with me and we're going to do some bridges on the floor. If you use a wheelchair and getting down on the floor isn't going to work for you, feel free to do another movement using your dumbbells. Maybe give some flies a go, yeah? Otherwise, come with me down on the ground. We're only going to do a few, and then we're going to come back to our food. So lying down on the ground, let's get yourself nice and positioned. I really want you to relax your head and neck and shoulders. Arms by your side. Now make sure your feet are hip width apart and your knees aren't knocking in together or falling out like that, okay? Feet and knees hip width apart, dig your heels into the ground, squeeze the butt cheeks and come back down. That's it, fabulous. Let's do 10. 2 and down. 3 and down. 4, 5, 6, 7, you got this. 8, 9 and 10. All right, make any clothing adjustments you require. I'm gonna hike up these pants and let's do a bridge hold, okay? So let the butt relax. If you're doing your flies, maybe let your arms relax a little bit and then come round for another round. All right, are we ready? Dig your heels into the ground, lift your butt and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, you got this. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come down, relax. I'm going to do one more lot. And then we're going to check in on our food. And hopefully it's ready. All right, are we ready? Let's go. 1 and down. 2 and down. 3, 4, 5, you got this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fantastic. Our stewed apples and pears should be done by now. If you go to check them and you find out they're not, feel free to play with the heat a little bit, do whatever you've got to do. And if you still want to do something like moving, feel free to check out another video, open up another window, then come back to this one later.
So we're at the stage
stage where we can plate up now. So I've just got myself my bowl and my spoon, and I've got my cream ready to go. I cannot wait to put some cream on. So just take as much as you like. I'm just gonna try maybe 2 spoonfuls. It smells so good. All the just all the spices. I'm really happy with the spice mix that I used. All right, time to add your cream, or if you're doing ice cream or custard or whatever it is you want to do, as little or as lot as you like. And taste it with me. Let's see how we go. So I'm going to try for a bit of the apple and pear. I think I've even got maybe a bit of clove in there. Let's find out. Oh my God, it's so good. It's good with the cream. It's really good with the cream actually. But for me, it's just the right amount of sweetness for me. And I'm getting a really nice mix of flavors of spices that I'm really liking. And it's perfect on a day like today where it's kind of like a little bit cold. I need to snuggle up. This is beautiful. I cannot wait to hear how yours went. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the movement. I hope you enjoyed the food. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Big shout out to today's sponsors, The Real Food Grocer. I'll put some links below. They're the people I get my fruit and veg off, and they have sponsored some of my YouTube work, which is wonderful and so appreciated. And I'd also like to thank all my patrons on Patreon who also support my YouTube work. If you'd like to support me, feel free to check out the links below. And yeah, until next time, stay safe and have a good one. Bye for now.